Hi, I'm Cynthia Patton, founder of Autism A to Z and the mother of a daughter diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Katie's diagnosis occurred 9 years ago, yet I vividly remember how confused, scared, and alone I felt. I founded Autism A to Z because I wanted parents to have the support and resources I so desperately needed. Autism is a neurological, biological, and developmental disorder that has no known cause. It affects individuals in 6 key areas: communication, social skills, behavior, sensory integration, learning, and health. Considered rare 30 years ago, autism now affects 1 out of 55 children and is typically diagnosed between 18 months and 5 years of age. Every autistic child has a different combination of strengths and weaknesses, but certain traits, such as difficulties with language and social skills, remain a hallmark of the disorder. Experts agree early intervention is key, so don't delay. Children can be assessed for autism in different ways. If your child is under 3 and you live in California, an organization called the Regional Center does the assessment. If you live outside California, find the agency that coordinates your state's early intervention program. For children over 3, school districts handle the assessment, or you can obtain one yourself. UCSF's STAR program is a good place to start.
Don't rely on your pediatrician to make an assessment or even a referral. Your child must be seen by a pediatric neurologist, a licensed clinical psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a developmental pediatrician to obtain an accurate diagnosis.
Katie was diagnosed at 2 by the Regional Center with a speech delay and sensory processing disorder. 6 months later, she was diagnosed with autism. But everyone starts the journey differently.
He was probably about 6 months old, and he couldn't play with his toys very well. I noticed that he'd always go to the same toy, and it was a ball that he would bounce, and he would just follow it he would just track it with his eyes.
Probably had the idea maybe when he started school, 5, 6 years old. 2nd grade, he fell apart. And he started becoming very depressed. He was not able to make it through the school day. He was just not able to even participate in life. And it was now starting to affect my job. It was starting to affect the whole family. And we asked the school for an independent evaluation to re-diagnose him.
We were in another state, and so he just really was struggling, and I was in the classroom a couple of times a week helping and doing the volunteer in there, and he just was not getting the reading, was not happening for him. And then really that social element too was not there at all. So when I'm seeing him in a setting with all these other kids, that was when it's really striking that, wait, there is something really different with this child.
So your child has autism. Take a deep breath and remain calm. You can handle this. Autism is puzzling and affects individuals differently, which is why it's called a spectrum. Some people with autism never speak and require lifelong care, but others communicate, attend college, and live on their own. When the official diagnosis is made, be sure to obtain a document that outlines your child's unique assets and deficits, plus makes specific recommendations for services. This assessment is crucial to determine what your child needs to thrive.
It's important to educate yourself on autism so you understand the potential causes, the available therapies, and ask the right questions. whether at a doctor's visit or a special education meeting. You know your child better than anyone, because every child's different, every treatment plan will differ too. Trust yourself.
I think it's important to have a holistic treatment plan, so you're not looking at just what the school system gives you, just what the regional center gives you, just what your pediatrician gives you. You should be looking at a MAPS or DAN doctor's assessment. You should be going to a speech therapist. Maybe they'll have to have their hearing assessed. There's a plethora of other doctors that you need to tap into to make sure you have a complete plan of action for your child. So that would be not just in school, but medically as well.
So during that, between that 2nd and 3rd grade is when I said, you know what, we're gonna have him diagnosed. And I was able to find a really wonderful doctor to do that assessment. And I went ahead and just paid out of pocket and had that done. And yeah, all those odd things, there was a reason for it, there was a place for it.
Parents often feel isolated on the autism journey. Find a support group to receive information, understanding, and hope. Get plenty of sleep and exercise. Find childcare so you can get a break. I know it's a challenge, but you can't be the advocate your child needs if you don't care for yourself.
I went to parent support groups because as a sibling with someone with autism, there was no sibling support groups, especially with me being older. So I definitely looked into parent support groups. I was able to get advice from other parents, what to do during a tantrum, and just to vent to them and them to me.
Probably just family support and talking to close friends who I trusted. That gave me the most encouragement and uplifted me the most and prepared me for what was ahead. My oldest son was already in school, so I was talking to parents a lot. You know, networking with parents really was one of the most helpful things. They were going through the same thing that I was going through, so it really was a benefit.
Thanks for listening. I hope our paths cross on the autism journey.